Yo, hoop fans! Your sideline sage, Tips and Upstreams, is lacing up once again. On deck, deep dives into the freshest NBA clashes, ready to set the planks ablaze. But before we jump the ball, be sure to hammer that subscribe on our YouTube channel to keep hooked with our sharp forecasts and prime selections. All right, let's bounce into today's NBA Crystal Ball reads. The first prediction for today is for the game between Milwaukee Bucks and Philadelphia 76ers. In an electrifying Sunday afternoon clash, the Milwaukee Bucks gear up to face the Philadelphia 76ers in a matchup filled with anticipation and high stakes. Both squads enter this duel on equal footing, having each won 3 of their last 6 games, setting the scene for a nail-biter. Fresh off a spirit-lifting victory against the Timberwolves, the Bucks have displayed both grit and fluctuation, underscored by their recent shuffle in the coaching staff. The arrival of Doc Rivers as the head coach has yet to steer Milwaukee towards a winning streak, with a challenging 4-7 record since his takeover. Nonetheless, the Bucks boast an impressive roster, spearheaded by Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is tearing up the court with an average of 30.8 points and 11.3 rebounds per game, with Damian Lillard's precision from beyond the arc providing ample support. Conversely, the Philadelphia 76ers have encountered their share of hurdles, particularly feeling the void left by Joel Embiid's absence. Under Nick Nurse's helm, the team has maintained a commendable record, but has shown signs of fragility without their key player, with Tyrese Maxey emerging as the linchpin in the Sixers' offense during this period. Statistically, Milwaukee holds an advantage in scoring, boasting an average of 121.8 points on 49.3% shooting, overshadowing Philadelphia's 117.7 points on 47.3%. This offensive firepower, coupled with a slight edge in rebounding, tips the scales in favor of the Bucks. Yet, both teams stand neck and neck defensively, and with the Sixers' formidable day game record at home, the match's complexion is all the more compelling. The historical matchup data in Philadelphia suggests a home court advantage for the 76ers. However, Milwaukee's recent dominance in this rivalry, with a 10-3 record in their last 13 encounters, implies that the Bucks have the arsenal to challenge the Sixers on their turf. Injury updates, particularly Chris Middleton's absence for Milwaukee, could be a pivotal element in this contest. The Bucks have shown some inconsistency in covering the spread against Eastern Conference foes following victories as underdogs, highlighting potential issues in sustaining form. Considering the analysis, while taking into account both teams' current form and the specific dynamics of this game, Milwaukee's offensive might, led by Antetokounmpo and Lillard, is expected to give them the upper hand. Despite being the visitors, the Bucks have proven they can stand tall against formidable rivals. Philadelphia's tenacity and stellar home record present a challenge, but Milwaukee's depth of talent and history of success in these matchups sway the prediction in their favor. Given the recent scoring trends and defensive postures of both teams, it seems reasonable to predict a total score below the established threshold. With neither team at their offensive peak and the game's significance likely leading to intensified defense, a lower scoring game aligns with recent trends. In summary, while recognizing the competitive spirit of both teams and the Sixers' home advantage, Milwaukee's offensive prowess and historical upper hand suggest they will not only win, but also cover the spread. Betting on the total points to fall below 232.5 seems like a prudent choice, anticipating a Bucks victory and a tighter defensive showdown. The next prediction for today is for the game between Los Angeles Lakers and Phoenix Suns. This Sunday afternoon at the Footprint Center, an electric showdown awaits as the Los Angeles Lakers prepare to take on the Phoenix Suns in a highly anticipated battle brimming with excitement and crucial implications. Riding a wave of momentum with 4 wins in their last 5 games, the Lakers are hitting the hardwood with full force. Meanwhile, the Suns, seeking redemption after a mixed performance in their recent matches, face a pivotal moment in their season. The Lakers have been showcasing their scoring dominance and resilience, boasting an average of 117 points on an impressive 49.4% shooting. The dynamic duo of Anthony Davis and LeBron James has been at the forefront, lighting up the scoreboard with their remarkable performances. Davis, averaging 25 points and 12.2 rebounds, alongside James with 24.9 points and 7.2 rebounds, have propelled the Lakers to recent victories. Their sharp shooting from three-point range and reliability from the free throw line underscore a comprehensive offensive strategy that the Suns' defense will have to contend with. Despite recent challenges, the Phoenix Suns have demonstrated they are a force to be reckoned with. Their offensive prowess, slightly outmatching the Lakers with 117.4 points on 49.6% shooting, sets the stage for a high-octane clash. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker are key to the Suns' scoring efforts, but their defense's effectiveness in limiting opponents' three-point success will be critical against the Lakers' attack. The Suns have historically thrived at home, with a 7-game winning streak at the Footprint Center highlighting their advantage. However, the Lakers' determination and strategic edge in shot blocking and offensive efficiency might just challenge the Suns' dominance. Although the Suns are the favorites, the game could hinge on the health and performance of the star players. With LeBron and AD back, the Lakers have shown they can overpower opponents in the paint, and the absence of Bradley Beal could disadvantage the Suns. The Lakers' prowess in controlling the paint and excelling at free throws positions them as strong contenders to challenge the Suns, even away from home. Anticipate standout performances from Davis and James, who have consistently outperformed against the Suns. While a Suns win wouldn't be surprising, the Lakers' recent upturn and strategic adjustments make them the favorites to cover the spread. In sum, this matchup is shaping up to be a tight contest, but the Lakers' momentum and tactical savvy against the Suns' recent form tilt the odds in their favor. Expect a high-scoring affair, with the Lakers likely taking the upper hand due to their control of the game's pace and dominance inside, making them the smart choice in this thrilling encounter. I'm placing my bets on the Los Angeles Lakers to cover the spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Dallas Mavericks and Indiana Pacers. At Gainbridge Fieldhouse, an electrifying showdown unfolds as the Dallas Mavericks, boasting an impressive 33-23 record, clash with the Indiana Pacers, hot on their heels with a 32-25 score. This isn't merely a battle for dominance in their conferences, it's a crucial test of their playoff mettle. The Mavericks, riding a 7-game winning wave, have been slicing through opponents with sharp precision. Meanwhile, the Pacers, with victories in 5 of their last 7 outings, prove to be formidable adversaries, especially on their home ground. The Mavericks' offense, with an average of 108.7 points on 47.8% shooting, thrives on Luka Doncic's extraordinary 34.3 points and 9.6 assists per game. The addition of Kyrie Irving has amplified this firepower, turning the Mavericks into a defensive nightmare. Their 37.4% success rate from beyond the arc speaks volumes about their spacing and perimeter prowess. However, Dallas's defense, giving up 117.2 points on average, reveals vulnerabilities, despite Daniel Gafford's defensive efforts in the paint. Conversely, the Pacers have been setting the scoreboard ablaze, averaging 123.8 points thanks to their blistering 50.8% shooting accuracy. The dual-threat presence of Tyrese Halliburton, coupled with Pascal Siakam's exceptional play, is central to Indiana's offensive strategy. Yet, their defensive shortcomings, allowing 122.2 points per game, pose concerns about their capacity to hold back teams with the offensive caliber of Dallas. The historical matchups in Indianapolis offer a varied narrative, with each team having its moments of glory. Indiana's home court advantage and their resilience, especially as underdogs in the initial game of back-to-backs, demonstrate their tenacity. Dallas's effectiveness on the road, especially against teams facing back-to-back games, highlights their strategic advantage in such situations. A close examination of recent performances indicates Dallas's balanced offense and marginally superior defense as pivotal in this face-off. The Mavericks' prowess in high-pressure situations, combined with their potent offense, gives them a significant edge over the Pacers' defensive frailties. Furthermore, Dallas's recent road game successes suggest their ability to thrive in adversarial settings. Considering the offensive strengths of both teams and their propensity for high-scoring games, the projection leans towards a match exceeding 251.5 total points. Nevertheless, the Mavericks' form, strategic depth, and slightly better defensive statistics, despite the Pacers' home advantage, sway the prediction in Dallas's favor. To sum up, while the Pacers' offensive force and home court benefit render them tough competitors, the Mavericks' well-rounded offense, spearheaded by Doncic's stellar performance and their road resilience, are expected to propel them to victory. Anticipate Dallas not just to beat the spread, but to clinch a win in this high-scoring epic, making the Mavericks the favored choice. My money's on the Dallas Mavericks to triumph and beat the spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Cleveland Cavaliers and Washington Wizards. As the Cleveland Cavaliers gear up to take on the Washington Wizards at the Capital One Arena, The vibe of this Eastern Conference showdown sharpens into focus, considering their recent form, direct confrontations, and key stats. The Cavs, standing tall in the East with a solid 36-19 record, aim to shake off a rough patch, having lost 3 out of their last 4 games. Their latest loss, a 7-point defeat to the Philadelphia 76ers, has primed them for a pivotal comeback. On the flip side, the Wizards are in a tough spot, ranked 14th in the conference with a disheartening 9-47 record, and are stuck in a harsh 10-game skid. The Cavs have showcased a robust foundation throughout the season, especially on defense, where they've been formidable, allowing a mere 109.2 points per game and keeping the opposition's shooting to 45.5%. This defensive tenacity places them among the league's top echelons. Offensively, they've held their ground, scoring an average of 114.5 points on 48.3% shooting, led by Donovan Mitchell's stellar performance of 28.4 points and 6.3 assists per game. Their efficiency from the three-point line and the charity stripe highlights their well-rounded offensive strategy. In contrast, the Wizards' season has been a roller coaster, marked by defensive struggles that have seen them concede a league-high 124.4 points per game. While Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole have stood out, their contributions haven't been enough to turn the tide in their favor. Head-to-head encounters in Washington depict the Cavaliers' superiority, especially against teams below 500, while the Wizards have found it tough to compete against teams with winning records, losing their last 21 games against such squads. The Cavs' edge in defensive efficiency and rebounding gives them a significant advantage. Their better shooting percentages and rebounding dominance make them the favorites. The Wizards' porous defense further shifts the odds in Cleveland's favor, given the Cavs' defensive strength. Moreover, the Wizards' recent home performance, particularly after road losses, doesn't bode well, failing to cover the spread in most of their recent endeavors. The Cavs, despite recent stumbles on the road, have a commendable record against underperforming teams, aligning with their visit to the capital. The stark contrast in adjusted net rating between the teams, with the Cavs at a plus 4.7 and the Wizards at a minus 8.6, along with Cleveland's knack for bouncing back against weaker teams and Washington's defensive woes, suggests a win for Cleveland. Considering all metrics, past performances, and the historical backdrop, the Cavaliers are poised not just to clinch a victory, but also to cover the spread. The Wizards' defensive issues and lack of drive against the Cavaliers' urgency to recover from their recent dip and their statistical edge, particularly in defense, make Cleveland the evident pick for this matchup. Expect a commanding display that underscores the Cavaliers' tenacity and the Wizards' persistent challenges. My money's on the Cleveland Cavaliers to triumph and cover the 11-point spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Orlando Magic and Atlanta Hawks. As the Orlando Magic prepares to square off against the Atlanta Hawks, we're on the brink of witnessing a basketball showdown that's sure to captivate. Riding the high of a 3-game win streak, the Magic have shown their mettle by dispatching formidable opponents such as the Knicks, Cavs, and Pistons. Their game stats paint a picture of a team that's both a force on offense, averaging 111.8 points with a shooting accuracy of 47.4%, and a bulwark on defense, limiting rivals to 110.8 points at a 47.9% success rate. The plot thickens with Markelle Fultz sidelined and Jalen Suggs possibly making a comeback, adding intrigue to Orlando's strategy and spotlighting the crucial roles of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. On the flip side, the Atlanta Hawks are navigating through troubled waters with a 3-game skid under their belt. Despite an offensive lineup that boasts talents like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, pushing the score average to 121.3 points at a 46.5% shooting efficiency, their defensive cracks have been laid bare, with opponents scoring 123.9 points at a 50.2% clip. The Hawks lineup is further compromised by key injuries, notably Onyeka Okongwu putting a dent in their defensive and rotational options. A side-by-side stats comparison lays bare the contrasting fortunes and tactics of both teams. Orlando's tactical equilibrium, showcasing their prowess in both scoring efficiency and defensive rigidity, especially their ability to clamp down on the three-point line at 35.7%, speaks volumes of their all-rounded game plan. While Atlanta's scoring spree is commendable, their defensive frailties, highlighted by a dismal defensive rating, paint a gloomy picture. Looking back, matchups in this rivalry have had their share of highs and lows for both squads. Yet, Considering Orlando's current streak against Eastern Conference foes and their knack for beating the odds on the road, juxtaposed with Atlanta's struggles to hold the line in home games against Eastern rivals, points to a layered confrontation. The Hawks' edge and rest and their knack for bouncing back after home defeats could ignite a resurgence. Orlando's defensive game, particularly their perimeter guard and rebounding tenacity, will be crucial in countering Atlanta's long-range barrages and paint dominance. However, the Hawks' scoring prowess, coupled with a rest advantage and the Magic facing a back-to-back game situation, sets up a fascinating challenge. To sum up, this clash is teed up to be an offensive spectacle, with the Hawks eager to break their fall and the Magic looking to extend their winning narrative. Despite odds favoring the Magic by a 2-point spread with an over-under at 226 points, the battle is expected to be tight-knit. Given Atlanta's scoring might and Orlando's defensive strategy, the scoreboard is likely to tip beyond the predicted total. Yet Atlanta's fresh legs, poised to exploit any slip-ups by Orlando, might just edge them to beat the spread. My money's on the Atlanta Hawks to outpace the spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Oklahoma City Thunder and Houston Rockets. On an electrifying Sunday evening in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder are gearing up to take on the Houston Rockets at the Toyota Center, promising a thrilling display on the hardwood. This face-off grabs attention as the Thunder, riding high on a 4-game tear with conquests over teams like the Kings, Magic, Clippers, and Wizards, are in prime form. With an offensive onslaught averaging 121.4 points on a scorching 50.3% from the field and holding their ground defensively by allowing 113.4 points, the Thunder are a force to be reckoned with. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander lighting up the scoreboard with 31.1 points and dishing out 6.6 assists per game, along with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, have been pivotal in their latest triumphs. Their spectacular showing against the Wizards, marking their season's peak in scoring, highlights their offensive might and savvy shot-making. On the flip side, the Houston Rockets, fresh off a win against the Suns but stumbling in 6 of their last 8 outings, are at a crossroads needing to pivot back to winning ways. The Rockets, posting an average of 113.2 points on 46% shooting, lagged just a hair defensively, conceding 112.9 points. Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green, bolstered by the efforts of Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, illustrate the team's balanced offensive thrust and tenacity. VanVleet's playmaking brilliance shines through despite shooting woes, offering a glimmer of hope for the Rockets. When breaking down the stats, both teams have their fortes and flaws. Oklahoma City's edge in shooting efficiency and board control sets them apart, yet the Rockets' knack for stifling rivals' long-range game and their fortress-like advantage at the Toyota Center are not to be underestimated. Houston's prowess in home games starkly contrasts with their road woes, raising the stakes for the visiting Thunder. Delving into the history books, the matchup gains intrigue as the Thunder have found themselves on the losing end in their last 5 visits to Houston. This pattern, along with Houston's staunch defense against threes and free throws, could challenge Oklahoma City's high-octane offense. Injuries and player duels will play a key role in the game's direction. The Thunder's dependency on their star players for scoring and the Rockets' defensive game plan, particularly against aces like Gilgeous-Alexander and Williams, will be critical. The Rockets' ability to disrupt the Thunder's perimeter play and force turnovers may well tip the scales in this duel. Considering the stats, home court leverage, and recent form, this clash is shaping up to be a nail-biter. However, the Thunder's scoring finesse and defensive strides might just tip the balance in their favor against the Rockets. Despite Houston's gritty home record and historical edge, the Thunder's strategic prowess and current streak suggest they'll breach past barriers. In sum, while the Rockets have a shot at narrowing the gap with their solid home play and defense against threes, the Thunder's offensive supremacy and momentum are expected to carry them to victory. Although head-to-head history favors the Rockets, the Thunder's strategic edge and form tilt the odds in their favor, making them the pick for the win. Yet, it's a tight call given the Thunder's recent struggles in Houston, but I'm placing my bets on the Oklahoma City Thunder to come out on top. The next prediction for today is for the game between Chicago Bulls and New Orleans Pelicans. In the vibrant heart of New Orleans, at the Smoothie King Center, a captivating NBA duel is about to go down as the Chicago Bulls lock horns with the New Orleans Pelicans. The clash features the Eastern Conference's 9th seed, the Bulls, boasting a 26-30 slate, squaring off against the Western Conference's fifth seed, the Pelicans, who hold a 34-23 record. The storyline leading into this showdown has the Bulls hustling to regain their groove after stumbling in 3 of their recent 4 outings, while the Pelicans are riding a wave of momentum, clinching victories in 4 out of their last 5 contests. Chicago's recent run has been a mix of highs and lows, with a commendable win against the Hawks being overshadowed by setbacks against power teams like the Celtics and Cavs. The Bulls' offensive output averages at 111.8 points on 46.7% shooting, a stark contrast to the 113.2 points they're giving up on 47.1% shooting. Standouts DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White shine amidst the team's offensive and defensive challenges, especially their struggles in three-point shooting and perimeter defense, revealing areas for improvement. On the flip side, the Pelicans have been on an offensive tear, posting an average of 116.3 points on 48.7% shooting, with Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, and C.J. McCollum leading the charge. Yet, injuries to these key players, especially McCollum's sideline, and the uncertain statuses of Williamson and Ingram dim the Pelicans' scoring prospects. Despite these hurdles, the Pelicans have held their ground defensively, particularly in restricting scores inside the paint. Their vulnerability to three-point shots, however, could be exploited by the Bulls if Chicago's shooters get hot. Looking at past encounters in New Orleans, the Bulls clinched a win against the Pelicans earlier this season. While the Pelicans usually capitalize on their home court edge, the Bulls' desperation for a win and the Pelicans' injury concerns could tip the scales. Analyzing both teams' forms and the Pelicans' injury issues, the Bulls' chances to beat the spread seem promising. Chicago's adaptability and strategic tweaks in response to recent setbacks, along with the Pelicans' weakened roster, hint at a competitive advantage for the Bulls. With a close examination of stats, injury updates, and recent forms, this matchup is expected to be a nail-biter. The Bulls, despite some inconsistency in scoring, have shown they can step up against top-tier teams. The Pelicans, strong defensively, face a tough task in keeping up their scoring without their main contributors. This leads to the prediction that the Chicago Bulls are primed to beat the spread against the New Orleans Pelicans. The Bulls' eagerness to rebound, paired with the Pelicans' injury predicaments, promises a showdown marked by strategic depth and defensive resilience. Considering the matchup's dynamics, including the Bulls' potential to leverage the Pelicans' weak spots and the importance of this game for Chicago's playoff hunt, the forecast favors the Bulls beating the spread. While the total points might depend on the pace and execution, the Bulls' ability to adjust and compete under pressure enhances their odds. In conclusion, expect a tenacious performance from the Chicago Bulls, using their defensive strengths and exploiting the Pelicans' depleted roster to beat the three-point spread, showcasing a battle of strategy and determination. My wager is on the Chicago Bulls to beat the spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Denver Nuggets and Golden State Warriors. Tonight's game is set to be a barn burner as the Denver Nuggets hit the road to clash with the Golden State Warriors at the Chase Center. This isn't just another round in their epic showdown, but a pivotal battle that could shake up the Western Conference standings. Fresh off a dominant win in Portland, the Nuggets are looking to keep the momentum going, even without Jamal Murray in the lineup. Meanwhile, the Warriors are riding high on a 3-game win streak, looking to lock in their playoff spot with a win tonight. The Nuggets have been lighting up the scoreboard, dropping an average of 114.5 points per game, with a solid 49.2% shooting from the field. Even with Murray on the sidelines nursing his shins, Denver has shown no signs of slowing down, with Michael Porter Jr. and the ever-reliable Nikola Jokic leading the charge. Jokic, the team's main man, has been dishing out MVP-level performances, making Denver's methodical play style one of the deadliest in the league. On the flip side, the Golden State Warriors have been finding their groove, notching 119.5 points per game on 47.3% shooting. Their recent lineup shakeup, featuring rising star Jonathan Kuminga, has been paying off. Stephen Curry, the Warriors' sharpshooting phenom, continues to spearhead their attack. Golden State's up-tempo offense, which ranks 7th in efficiency, presents a stark contrast to Denver's game plan, promising an exciting tactical showdown. The backstory of these squads, especially in this arena, adds another layer of intrigue. Denver has had the upper hand, securing victories in their last 6 matchups, including a clean sweep in this season's series so far. Yet, the Warriors have been showing signs of a comeback, with their home court advantage at the Chase Center being a fortress of sorts. Tonight's game could pivot on several key factors, like Curry's wizardry against Denver's defense and how the Nuggets fare if Murray sits out. Injuries and matchups are crucial tonight. Murray's potential absence might give the Warriors a slight edge, especially on their home turf. Golden State's youthful vigor and revamped squad could throw Denver off their game, challenging their slower tempo. Considering the current trends, the Warriors' recent upswing, and the Nuggets' injury woes, the scales seem to lean towards Golden State. With the home court advantage and a lineup that's clicking at the right time, the Warriors look poised to take this. Despite Denver's prowess, they might struggle to keep up with the Warriors' pace and energy, particularly if Murray is out. Factoring in the stats, head-to-head history, injury updates, and recent performances, this game is shaping up to be a nail-biter, with the Golden State Warriors tipped to come out on top and beat the spread. The electrifying atmosphere at the Chase Center, coupled with the Warriors' hunger to redeem their season losses to the Nuggets, will be a game-changer. Expect a high-octane clash, with both teams pushing the envelope, but ultimately, the Warriors' scoring depth and tactical tweaks are likely to seal the deal. I'm backing the Golden State Warriors to beat the spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between San Antonio Spurs and Utah Jazz. In a showdown where both the San Antonio Spurs and Utah Jazz are hustling to gain a solid stance in the Western Conference, they're set to clash on the hardwood. Both teams are in the midst of a tough stretch, with the Spurs trying to bounce back from a 3-game losing streak and the Jazz looking to snap a 5-game slide. This matchup is a hot ticket for hoops aficionados and betting enthusiasts as each squad aims to snag a crucial win. Guided by their emerging stars, the Spurs have flashed signs of brilliance despite recent setbacks against powerhouse teams like the Mavericks, Kings, and Lakers. With Victor Wembanyama leading the charge, San Antonio's offense is dropping 112.1 points per game, though their defense has been leaky, letting through 120.6 points on average. Wembanyama, along with Devin Vassell and Keldon Johnson, are the spark plugs of this youthful squad, showcasing serious offensive chops. Yet, their defensive hiccups and lukewarm three-point shooting at 34.1% have been stumbling blocks in their quest for consistency. Meanwhile, the Utah Jazz are facing their own hurdles, eager to end a 5-game drought. With Lauri Markkanen and Colin Sexton at the helm, the Jazz's scoring machine is slightly more oiled than the Spurs, averaging 117.8 points per game. But like San Antonio, Utah's defense hasn't been up to snuff, with both teams bleeding 120.6 points per game. However, Utah has a leg up in the rebounding department, with John Collins and crew giving them a fighting chance to dominate the boards. Looking at both teams' recent form, especially when playing at home versus away, it's clear that playing on familiar turf has its perks. History shows the home squad usually comes out on top, hinting the Spurs might use their home advantage to throw the Jazz off their game. The fast pace and defensive struggles of both teams suggest a point fest, keeping in line with past face-offs and breezing past the total points line. With no back-to-back games for either team, they're coming into this battle fresh and ready. Utah's slightly sharper shooting and edge and rebounding might tip the scales their way on paper, but don't sleep on the Spurs' grit and Wembanyama's clutch play. To wrap up, despite the Jazz being pegged to win by 7 points, with a total points line at 241, this matchup is a tough call. The defensive gaps and high scoring potential lean towards a high point tally being likely. But given the Spurs' tenacity and the Jazz's recent misses at covering the spread, betting on the Spurs to beat the odds and possibly clinch the win seems the smarter play. The crux will be if San Antonio's offense can punch through Utah's defense and if their young guns can step up big time. Betting on the home advantage and the Spurs' resolve, my money's on San Antonio to beat the spread. The next prediction for today is for the game between Charlotte Hornets and Portland Trail Blazers. As the NBA arena buzzes with anticipation, a captivating showdown looms with the Charlotte Hornets gearing up to take on the Portland Trail Blazers. This face-off features two squads at contrasting junctures of their journey. The Hornets, riding the high of nailing 4 wins in their last 5 matchups, including standout victories over the Hawks and Jazz, are lighting up the court with their dynamic play despite a recent hiccup against the Warriors. On the other side, the Trail Blazers are caught in a rough patch, tangled in a 7-game skid with setbacks against formidable teams like the Pelicans, Timberwolves, and Nuggets. Diving into the analytics, The Hornets have been dropping 108.3 points per game with a shooting accuracy of 45.8%, even as their defense has been a bit leaky, allowing 118.8 points on 49.9% shooting. LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges are stealing the spotlight, though the squad's three-point precision and turnover troubles have been dragging them down a notch. Yet, their recent victories signal a team that knows how to rebound from defeats and could pull off a surprise. On the flip side, the Trail Blazers, scoring an average of 107.9 points on 44% shooting, are struggling to find their rhythm both on offense and defense. Anfernee Simons and Jerami Grant have been the silver linings, but their three-point woes and flimsy defense, letting through 116.9 points on 49.6% shooting, spotlight the challenges they face. However, Portland's defense against the long ball could be their ace in disrupting Charlotte's shooters. Considering the historical matchups and the recent track record in the host city, the Trail Blazers' home court advantage seems shaky against their current backdrop. Charlotte's knack for snagging offensive rebounds and covering the spread in recent outings adds layers to the prediction puzzle, especially with Portland's injury list potentially crimping their scoring. Looking at the stats and the critical metrics like field goal percentage, three-point efficiency, and rebounding, the Hornets seem to have an edge with their resilience and knack for covering the spread in tight games. Moreover, Charlotte's momentum, contrasted with Portland's defensive hiccups and scoring slumps, hints that the Hornets might not just upset Portland, but also beat the spread. In the context of back-to-back games and performance under such conditions, stamina and squad depth will be key. Yet, with the Trail Blazers' current struggles and the Hornets' drive, Charlotte's chances to exploit defensive gaps and build on their recent wins look promising. In summary, after weighing the stats, head-to-head records, injury updates, and recent form, the tilt is towards the Charlotte Hornets, not just snatching the win, but also outpacing the spread. The Hornets' recent form, alongside Portland's defensive issues and injury hits, positions Charlotte as the likely victor. Despite a 3.5-point spread favoring the Trail Blazers, the Hornets' tenacity and clutch performance edge make them the favored squad in this matchup. I'm betting on the Charlotte Hornets to beat the spread. The last prediction for today is for the game between Sacramento Kings and Los Angeles Clippers. As we hit the climax of the NBA season, an electrifying showdown looms with the Sacramento Kings set to battle the Los Angeles Clippers. Both squads are hitting the hardwood with victory in their eyes after a roller coaster of results lately. The Kings, fueled by recent triumphs against the Nuggets and Spurs, are hungry to keep their win streak alive. On the flip side, the Clippers are on a quest for consistency, navigating through ups and downs in their performances. The Kings, flaunting a solid 118.6 points per game on 48.4% from the field, have proven they're a force on the offensive end, with De'Aaron Fox leading the onslaught. Fox, along with Domantas Sabonis, has been pivotal in the Kings' scoring spree, with Sabonis owning the glass and Fox tearing through defenses. Despite their scoring prowess, Sacramento's defense has been their Achilles heel, surrendering 118 points on 48.7% shooting. Their challenge to curb the three-point barrage will be critical against a Clippers team that's lethal from downtown. Meanwhile, the Clippers, with an average of 117.7 points on 49.2% shooting, have showcased their scoring efficiency, driven by the powerhouse duo of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Leonard's all-around mastery and George's precision from deep have been the cornerstone to the Clippers' offensive strategy. Their prowess from the three-point line, where they stand second in the league, could be the game-changer against the Kings' shaky perimeter defense. Looking back at recent face-offs in the same city, the Clippers have traditionally dominated the Kings. Yet the current dynamics hint at a potentially tighter contest. The Kings, despite defensive glitches, have shown grit and the capability to hang with the top dogs. The Clippers, though experiencing a slight dip, remain a threat with their high-octane offense. Injuries and roster availability will be crucial in deciding the game's fate. The strategic battle and the ability to leverage matchups will be key. The Kings' vulnerability against proficient three-point shooters might tip the scales in favor of the Clippers, who excel in that department. Analyzing the stats, the Clippers have a marginal advantage in shooting efficiency and defense. However, the Kings' rebounding strength, led by Sabonis, could keep them competitive. The Clippers' balanced offense and superior three-point shooting, along with a slightly better defense, position them as the favorites, especially considering their past encounters. Expect an offensive feast with both teams setting a brisk pace. The Clippers, with their strategic depth and home court leverage, are poised for victory, banking on their scoring depth. To wrap up, while the Kings have the potential to surprise, the Clippers' efficiency, seasoned approach, and form tilt the odds in their favor. Anticipate a spirited clash, but the Clippers' three-point accuracy and defensive solidity should clinch them the win, though the Kings are likely to keep it closer than expected. My wager, the Sacramento Kings to cover the 7-point spread.